everyone, I am your astrologer Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here is your daily forecast for the day of Sunday, June 24th, 2018. Now before I get started, I just want to let you all know I just switched my website over to Shopify. I was getting a lot of emails from some of the things that I was selling previously about how a lot of people couldn't find the downloads, or when they would get the download they couldn't get the whole download. So I just figured, you know what, I just need to switch to Shopify, so hopefully I won't get as many emails about things not working in the way that they should work, and so that hopefully that can be a little bit of a better experience for you all. So I did that, plus I think Shopify offers some cool other features that I can play with, and then of course I'm always looking for things that I can do to make my content better. So I'm looking into, and I recently downloaded like new software to do live videos with on Facebook and YouTube, and I think it will let me do them otherwise, so that I can also make that experience a little bit more fun and engaging as well. I've been trying to figure that out for a little bit, so I'll be doing some things there. Also, I did record a really long time ago when I was planning on switching my store over to Shopify, a series on Chiron and Aries. Chiron through the signs, really, not just Aries, but through every single sign. I was going to release it on the day or the month that Chiron moved into Aries, but because I didn't move over to Shopify then, I didn't release them, but they're there now. If you're curious on Chiron through the signs, just want my take on it or something of the sort, you can definitely check those out at the link down below in my description box, and just give me your feedback if you do buy it, if that's something that was interesting to you, if you want me to do more of those, that kind of thing. I'm also feeling like in the next few weeks I may try some other things. I've been doing the full moon and the new moon reports, and I like doing those, but I don't know, I don't know if they're for me. I don't know if there's something I want to continue, even though I think that the moons are super important to do them by signs, but I might take a break on those and try some other things. I have a subscription service I've really been wanting to do for quite some time, with politics and with news and just stuff for entrepreneurs and people who are running businesses, to interpret the astrology better that way for business owners. So I might this month experiment with that instead. You may hear me talk about doing something along those lines, or doing a little trial period with that for those of you that are interested, but I'll let you know when that happens. All right. So that's what we've got there. Now for your horoscope, what we have today is the moon, the last degrees of Scorpio. When the moon's in Scorpio, it brings our attention to our deep feelings hidden below the surface. Really, again, getting to the heart of the matter to figure out what's really going on within us, what we really want and desire. Also, when the moon's in Scorpio, Scorpio is a highly relational sign, so it brings our attention also to our most intimate relationships that we have, business partners, sexual relationships. The idea is it's just a relationship with someone that you share resources with, your body, your time, that falls into Scorpio. Also with Scorpio, you'll get money. A lot of times it's debts, paying out money, or trying to organize your finances. Okay. So that's what the focus is on when the moon is here. Now, early this morning, 3 a.m. Mountain Time, this moon in Scorpio is going to make a sextile to Pluto and Capricorn. I do like sextiles. Pluto is one of the natural rulers of Scorpio. So I do think what can happen at 3 a.m. is an opportunity for you to start to feel better about where your life is going, to start to feel like you're creating more of a life that you really like, that you really want, to put your life in a better direction, that you feel like just resonates with you deep down, with your deep desires. All right, so I really do like that at 3 a.m. Then a few hours later at 7 a.m. Mountain Time, this moon in Scorpio will make a trine over here to Mercury in Cancer. And again, I really like that. I think it's going to make it easier for you to communicate about your feelings, to communicate about your deep desires, about what you're feeling, about what you really want, about what's bothering you, if anything has been bothering you, in a more positive way, so that you can feel like you're putting your life in a place that just resonates with you better. Okay, so I really like this. I do like this. I think it could give you a chance early this morning to start to feel like It's easier for you to understand your feelings, understand your emotions, to communicate about them, and to make sense of them or put them in their proper place so that you can do some of the things that it is that you want and need and just feel better all around, okay? And that's going to be what goes on for most of the day, because the next aspect the moon's going to make after that isn't going to be until nighttime, 11 p.m. Mountain Time. And 11 p.m. the moon is then going to enter Sagittarius. Okay, when the moon enters Sagittarius, things then change quite a bit as to where Scorpio is very deep, very intense, very personal, what you're feeling inside, some of your closest relationships. Sagittarius is a little bit more excitable. It's a fire sign, a little bit more playful, a little bit more open about things, out there, likes to try new things, adventure, explore, be out and about. Did I say learn new things? Sagittarius likes to do that, and then that's what the focus comes to tonight at 11 p.m. Mountain Time and into tomorrow. All right. One thing to be wary of is that 4 hours after the moon enters Sagittarius at 3 a.m. tomorrow, Mountain Time, the moon then will trine Chiron. Okay, Chiron again can bring up insecurities, can bring up fears, can bring up some hard feelings. The moon in a trine with Chiron, for sure, not feeling quite right, maybe tomorrow at 3 a.m. The problem, or the reason, maybe I'll say that, the reason why you may not be feeling quite right when this happens is because of the doing something new, is because of the exploring. We've been doing something new for so long, while Saturn was in Sagittarius, where the moon will be the sign of something new. It's been all about traveling, exploring, and with Saturn there, it may not have been super easy to do something new, to figure out our belief systems. And now that Saturn's finally gone from Sagittarius, we're trying to take everything new that we've done and we're trying to feel better with it, feel more comfortable with it, especially with the moon going through Gemini, now through Cancer, especially with the solar eclipse happening in Cancer the next very soon, I think on what, July 12th or 13th. We no longer want to explore anymore. Doing something new is like a frustration. Doing something new is uncomfortable because it's like, man, we've been doing something new for so long. Like, how can we finally just use these things we've been doing, use these new belief systems, even if it's not something new, like in a physical sense? How can we use these new belief systems, use these things that we've been exploring now to our advantage in a more personal way? And I think that's when, now with the trine to Chiron, that any planet who goes through Sagittarius is going to make in the next few years, it's going to be about, man, I don't know if I want to explore, or exploring's hard, you know, and doing something new is difficult. I just want to take some new things that I've been doing and I want to feel better about them and I want to settle in with it. And I think that's what's going on that will make maybe tomorrow at 3 a.m. hard. All right. I like the beginning of the day, because in the beginning of the day we've got Scorpio and we've got Cancer involved. You know, and I've been watching something that says a lot. Scorpio, Cancer, and Pisces, your water signs, are a lot about coming home. I mean, especially because Cancer is the sign of home. You know, I do think there's a lot in the astrology that's all about, we want to come home. We want to figure out where we belong, where our home is. We want to get more comfortable emotionally with who it is that we are. And I think when we think about that and we work towards that, even if it's hard, or even if there are some roadblocks, or even if we have to reconceptualize what we thought home was, I think the more we can work towards building a new home or building more comfort into our life, we feel better, which is why I like the beginning of today. But when we think about doing something new, traveling, going far away from home, that's when it's like, oh man, I've been doing that for forever. Like, can we just get like back to home? Can we just get back to feeling comfortable? And I think that's now the struggle. That's why I like the beginning of the day. The beginning of the day, you're getting in touch with your home, with your roots, with what you feel inside to make you feel better. And then when the moon enters Sagittarius tomorrow, it takes us out of that comfort. It takes us out of us being at home and within ourselves, or trying to find that home within ourselves to do something else, and really needing to figure out how to build more of a foundation in your life, or new of a foundation in your life, even if it may require a few more tweaks for you to do something excuse me, new or different that you have not done before. Okay, and I'm not saying when the moon enters Sagittarius, that it's all about doing tons of new things, making big moves to upend everything, although some of you may be doing that, but even just like seeing things differently, getting new perspectives, I think would be very helpful. Okay, I mean, really it is. And I do a lot of readings, you know, I will talk to a lot of people about where they live, moving, you know, like the stuff, typically the normal, like big life stuff that comes up. And home and family is going to take center stage in a really, really big way, you know, in our emotional lives, in our private lives, towards the end of this year, because the North Node is going to move into Cancer. And that's going to mean that for the next year and a half, since the nodes stay about in this one sign for a year and a half, it means that the next year and a half is going to be all about us coming home, trying to find home, trying to make our own home, trying to find our family, trying to find where we fit in emotionally so that we can feel better. And I don't think we're quite there yet. Like the North Node is not in Cancer yet, even though we are going to have the first eclipse in Cancer next month that we've had in years. You know, it's like we haven't had an eclipse in Cancer in a really, really long time, you know, but I think we're not there yet. But I think with all this stuff going on, with the sun moving through Cancer, with Mercury and Venus, we're finally trying to figure out how we can find out what home is and create more of that. And I don't think we're quite there yet, especially with Cancer making the quincunxes over to Aquarius. We're not quite sure where our future is, so it's hard for us to feel comfortable. It's hard for us to find home if we don't know what's happening in our life later on, if we don't have a vision for our future. But I think over the next few months, in between like the eclipses, or like this month in July and a few months from now when the North Node enters Cancer, we're going to get more of that picture of what we need to feel comfortable in life, of what we can call home, and what our future looks like now that we figured that out. And I think that's part of what we're negotiating, maybe with this Mercury in an opposition with Pluto that's happening right now at the same spot that the eclipse will happen next month. I think we're really trying to negotiate what is home to us. Why haven't we had the home that we want? How can we create the home eventually that we want? Or what about a new home, a new foundation for our life? And I think that's what's really going on, and we may not have all the answers with Mars in the South Node because the eclipse haven't happened yet, but I just hope I can get that across. I think we are trying to figure out, and will be for the next year and a half, where we belong in life emotionally, how we can feel more rooted and more grounded. And I think now we're trying to bring that together, even if we don't know quite yet where it's all going, how we can get there and what we really want, but I think it will come. Okay. So that's what I will say there. Now, things going on in the background, again, the sun in Cancer, focusing on home, family, grounding yourself, making a sextile to Uranus. I think we're getting insights, maybe unexpected insights that I like to think are positive on how we can create more of a home, more stability, security, and confidence in our lives. With the sun, again, in a square to Chiron, even though we're getting insights on what we need to feel better, feel more at home and more stable, again with Chiron, maybe we're not sure how to act to do these things that we need to feel better, or maybe they're not things we originally wanted to do. They're not things that originally resonated with our identity, Aries, you know, and we're having to learn, okay, this is what I need to feel comfortable, but this is not what I thought I would be. This is not who I thought I was. This is not comfortable for me because I wanted this that I thought resonated with me more, but this is, again, what I think my heart is telling me to do so that I can feel better. So I think, again, speaking of home and the struggle with the Chiron and the fire signs here, it's like we know what we need to feel comfortable, or we're getting more insights on it in life, but then it's preventing us from doing the things we thought we wanted to do, or maybe we don't know how to do them because of that. All right. So we have that going on. Then we also have Mercury in opposition to Pluto. I said where the eclipse will be very soon, in a few weeks, bringing up negotiations about your resources, your time, your relationships, your money, maybe having to change a lot of those things, especially where you thought your life was going, so that you can start to feel better. Yeah, change in some of your relationships, the way that you partner with people, especially publicly, the way you use your money in your career in a public way. So that you can start to use these things better in a way that resonates more truly with your heart, which is going to be huge over the next year and a half. What do you need to feel comfortable in life? That we're trying to figure out. Okay, Venus on the North Node here, needing to have faith, needing to be patient, even if things aren't quite going the way that we want. Again, I really do think things are going exactly how they need to go. Venus also in a square with Jupiter, saying maybe in order for us to do the things that our heart is saying, We may have to make some more changes. We may have to get to the root of the matter of what's stopping us from doing what our heart's calling us to do. We may have to dig up some deep feelings that we maybe don't want to feel, so that we can feel better, so that we can overcome the past, again with Mars in the South Node, and start to move forward. Okay? So I think that's what's going on. I think I'll leave it there. I've been talking about this Venus North Node. I'm like tired of talking about Venus North Node and Mars South Node, but I'll be talking about Mars South Node for like another 3 months. But I really do think it's really all about you're trying especially to rearrange your resources, your money, your time, your relationships, and rearrange a lot of things in your life so that you can start to feel more stable and more secure, even if it's not what you originally thought you wanted, and needing to listen to your heart. The small, soft, intuitive promptings, even if they aren't what you wanted, needing to stop fighting against those things and to go where your life is calling you, even if it's not what you thought you wanted it to be. Okay, and I think that's where your luck is going to go if you stop trying to hold on to things that aren't working out for you anyways. Stop trying to hold on to things that are falling apart right before your eyes. You know, if they are, if you just let those go and if you just focus on the other things that are working out, then I think it'll be a lot easier for you, you know? Yeah, I really do think that's a lot of it. It's like if something's not working out for you, maybe it is not meant for you. Stop trying to make it work if it's not working. Maybe other times I might tell you, fight for it, fight what you want, fight for what you want. But now I'm like, especially with Mars in the South Node, I'm like, if something's not working for you, do not fight for it now. Do not fight for it. Let it go. Maybe another time you can fight. Right now, you need to move on to other things that are calling you, to new homes, to other ways to build the security and stability into your life, even if it's not what you originally thought it would be. Okay? And to find your new home. Okay, so I'll leave that there. Your card for the day is the 10 of Pentacles, another reversed card. I really don't know how this happens, but part of me is like, the astrology is very reversed to me. It's like not my, it's like I just feel that way, especially with Mars in the South Node. It's like this isn't like a good time to have like a bunch of cards upright, like plowing forward, like making tons of progress, like doing everything. It's like one of these times it's like very reflective, very emotional, very internal, working things out on the inside, dealing with the past. So I guess in that sense, it reflects the reversed cards well. Now when the 10 of Pentacles is upright, I'll start there. Typically it does indicate, I like to think, to me, this is the card of like building your empire. It's like the last of the Pentacles, other than like the King, Queen, Page, that kind of thing. So I like to think when I see this card, like you are building your empire and it's lasting and lasting success, and you can share your wealth with other people. And then when I see this card reversed, I'm like, what wealth do you have to share? Your empire is falling down. You have no empire. You have nothing to show for it. And maybe some of you do. You know, I'm not like that makes it sound really depressing. It may not be exactly that way, but I think the message here is it's okay if there are some things in your life that are falling down, some structures in your life that you thought are falling down, some things that you've built up in your life for years and years that all of a sudden you realized, wait a second, I don't know if I want that anymore, or wait a second, that's not working out for me, especially with Saturn, Pluto coming conjunct in Capricorn in a year and a half. The major structures of your life, the major empires you've been building are going to fall down. They're going to come crumbling down. You're going to have to build something else. And I think the message of this is to say, look, it's okay if you feel like you don't have as much to offer other people in the way that you want right now. It's okay if you feel like there are some big structures in your life that you've built that you no longer want. It's okay for all of that to happen. Maybe you need to aid in letting that go. Why, you know, it's like, why, I think a lot of times, like, we think of like, oh, well, you're not successful unless you're like married, have kids, like have worked your way up the ladder. And like, maybe that was a good way of thinking a few years ago, you know, and I don't even know if a few years ago, like 15, 20 years ago, but now I'm like, why do you have to live like these super, and maybe this is all my Gemini planets, but I'm like, why do you have to live this like super big life to be successful? Like, why do you have to have everything perfect in exact order to feel successful? Like, What's wrong with having a lot of little jobs, especially with Uranus and Taurus, doing a lot of freelance work? What's wrong with like being flexible? What's wrong with working on your feet? What's wrong with making things up as you go along? You know, like what's wrong with that? And I think maybe just needing to be okay with that. I don't even know if this is a message for today or just for overall. Being okay with making things up as you go along. Being okay with not knowing all the answers. Being okay with not having the structures in your life built yet that you really want. You can build new structures, new empires in your life, but in order to do that, the old ways of doing things have to come down so that you can realize what you really want and enjoy and then build from there. All right. So that's what I'll leave you with for today. Thank you so much for watching my horoscope. If you like it, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you later.